we spoke about this earlier, the Mississippi corruption that's spilling over into Memphis. So I want to play this clip.
It's not spilling over into Memphis. Perhaps it's dripped from Memphis down there. The South, the channel of the Mississippi River has always been a hotbed of corruption, venality, all sorts of wrong, misappropriation of public funds. It goes back to when the Klan and the Night Riders were going around where everybody just looked the other way, where Mr. Bobby ran a county, provided all of the squad cars, the guns, the uniforms for the sheriff's departments and the police departments, ran everything. Nobody got a job without his permission, but he took in all the gravy. Nobody dared tax him. He did what he wanted, or they did what they wanted. And nowadays that you've got the Democratic Party running everything in Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, etc., you've got this thing where you have nominally those who were once on the bottom now saying they're at the top and it's their turn to get the gravy. That is ridiculous because it's their opportunity to do something they ought to be doing, which is to serve the people who elect them instead of just getting elected and getting the opportunity to rip the people off. It's like the worst kind of preachers who are not saving souls so much as they are just trying to pimp their congregations for their own personal benefit. These people are not trying to help us out by their representation and lead effectively and intelligently and wisely. They're trying to sucker us into putting them into office so they can rip our tax dollars off.
All right, I want to play this clip so people can understand what we're talking about.
Let this be a lesson for those sworn to serve the public that if you're a good law enforcement officer, the FBI will always stand with you. But for those corrupt individuals who abuse their office, we will come for you.
We're learning more about those indicted and what the FBI is calling a drug trafficking conspiracy. Hello, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. Greg Hurst is off tonight. The indictments include more than a dozen Mississippi law enforcement officers accused of taking bribes while helping criminals. WREG's Brian Didlake has been following the story and has the latest.
We're here today to talk about some incredibly serious allegations that mark it's just a monumental betrayal of public trust.
Clay Joyner announcing the indictment of 14 Mississippi law enforcement officers and 6 others. 2 of those indicted sitting sheriffs Milton Gaston of Washington County and Bruce Williams of Humphreys County, all defendants facing federal drug and gun charges.
I think you could probably characterize it as a sting, but again, the original complaints that began the investigation were from drug dealers.
Drug dealers who officials say complained about having to pay bribes, the highest more than $30,000 according to investigators. The Mississippi officers mentioned in the indictment promised to provide safe passage of narcotics throughout the Mississippi Delta region. Now, while 14 of these defendants were local law enforcement officers in Mississippi, 6 others were indicted as well. WRG digging deeper found out that those arrested were in Shelby County as well as northern Mississippi. Documents show those 6 civilians committed crimes in Greenville, Mississippi. However, all had addresses in Memphis, South Haven, and Horn Lake. Investigators identified the group as the investigation expanded.
Well, that's what we internally refer to as the Memphis crew, because when those drugs got to the state line, those folks were recruited by someone who was already in the conspiracy.
For the officers and sheriffs who were being investigated, were they suspended at any time during this investigation?
Essentially, no. We did not make an approach to have them suspended because that would have absolutely identified the fact that an investigation was taking place.
Investigators say they hope these arrests turn into convictions so justice can be served.
What the public needs to see, I think what all of us would want to see, whenever you have any kind of corruption that we're dealing with, is accountability. And that's what the next step is delivering accountability.
In Oxford, Mississippi, Brian Didlake for your news leader, WREG News Channel 3.
That's endemic to this area, and it's worse in Memphis. The sheriff's department, police department, the jails are infused with gang members who operate internally, but they are not prisoners nor inmates. They wear uniforms. You have people in City Hall and in the chambers of the Clown Council and the Clown Commission who are as big a set of thieves and as corrupt as anybody that they've gotten down there in Mississippi, assuming that the state can meet its burden or the feds can meet the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt the guilt of the people charged. We have those here in Memphis and Shelby County who need to be charged as well, and some of them are elected and some of them are appointed. So we have a corruption problem that is enormous. And the people I've been talking to are so glad that Memphis and Shelby County has been targeted for extra law enforcement. Our local yokels have responded by filing a lawsuit against the governor, the commander of the Tennessee National Guard, and the Attorney General of the state, because they have sent extra law enforcement back up to Memphis. We have a contingent of people who have been deputized by the U.S. Marshal who are assisting. We have the state police here. We have the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And as aforesaid, we've got the National Guard, we've got ICE, we've got FBI, and we've got DEA. And we've got ATF here, and it is needed, and you can tell that crime has dropped. You can drive around the city, which I've been doing for the last several weeks late at night, and you don't hear the gunshots, you don't hear the screeching tires, you don't hear the music being shared from 4 blocks away. People are feeling better about going out at night to go to a restaurant, to go to a movie, to go to a gas station and pump gas. And it is amazing. And I haven't heard anybody except some of the local Democrat yokels who are staunch blue jackasses who are against this. They keep talking about Trump is trying to impose totalitarian government, but that's not what's going on. It is a total breakdown of law and order because the people who got themselves elected to take care of the business of the citizenry are incapable, incompetent, unwilling, and indisposed to do that business that they got put into offices they were put in to do. They have used the opportunity to steal from the people, and the latest boondoggle is exposed by a whistleblower that involves the mayor of the city council, to the extent of $100+ million ripoff through the local utility company by overbilling the customers. $100+ million. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. There's $220 million to finance international hotel chain reconstructing a decrepit rat hole of a claptrap rundown hotel downtown. $200-some million to develop 25 acres for luxury units downtown that somebody got for a steal. There is money that's being made and a lot more to be made where some people got elected to an office and managed to introduce legislation that let them buy city parks for just $1,000 with no bid. It's just endemic what's going on here. There are several $billion of taxpayers' money that have been ripped off by unscrupulous people who have defrauded the public into thinking that they are having their interests seen to. So something needs to be done. We need another sting operation. They had one called the Tennessee Waltz about 20 years ago that swept up a lot of political officials, black and white, all around the state who were corrupt. And we need a Memphis boogie to do the same thing right now. So it's a disgrace and a shame that these people do not have the integrity. It's just endemic, and it is a shame that so many people have been talking about, vote for us because of our ethnic identity, just because of that. And they had such a great opportunity to do the right thing, but they just blew it, and they showed incompetence, and they showed just plain criminal evilness, and they've let the public down so badly.
And you know what? They don't care if they let the public down, because these police officers or law enforcement people who are, doing this type of corruptions, they are employed by the drug dealers, the drug cartels. They're getting money, probably more money than their salary. They don't give a damn about what they
but it's
swore to
not just
do,
the police.
Right.
It's not just police. It's
it goes up
also
the
the
train.
mayors, the
It goes
town
up the food
council, the
chain.
aldermen,
Yeah.
the counselor. It's the
Yes.
whole bunch of them.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but what do most of these law enforcement officers look like?
Well, they're coming all
What do they
black,
look like?
white. Well, you mean in this particular city of Memphis,
In
and
this
whatever?
particular, no, I'm not. I know
They're
what
all
they look like
black.
in Memphis, but
But
isn't that a
what,
shame that
it
they had
doesn't matter, because
opportunity? If they're talking about police brutality and abuse, and they get a chance to be in charge, but they ruin the opportunity by being criminal.
But there are a lot of. Can you hear me, Judge? Oh my God! Come on. You got to go out. You got to go. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you? Okay. So I was going to say is, if you ask a young black man, boy, male, or even a grown black adult, a lot of police brutality is not just white people beating up on black people. It's a lot of black cops that beat up on black people and actually kill them as well. Like police brutality is the race of blue. It's not a white face. It's whatever is in that blue uniform, that police officer uniform. There are a lot of black officers that display police brutality.
Yeah.
But that's never the narrative. I know someone personally who was recently murdered by the Newark Police Department. Now his family is going to sue, rightfully so, but that did not even reach any type of newspaper. It didn't reach nothing in social media. They swept that under the rug. Okay, we'll pay you. We fired the police officers. You will never see Ben Crump when it's a black face behind that, wearing that blue uniform. You're never going to hear it publicly. The closest we got was with the what happened in Memphis with those cops beating up that man.
Tyree
And that's
Nichols,
because it was
that had nothing to do with
Tyree Nichols.
that has nothing to do with random police citizen contact. That was intentional,
exactly.
deliberate, and it involved some domestic issues, allegedly, that involved the deceased and the cops involved. So anyway,
and for a very long time, the face of police brutality have been white. Now, but then in modern times and current times, the face is white, Hispanic, black. It's just a blue uniform. So yeah, the point is corruption all around, and it goes up that food chain.
Okay, there's another thing too. I say you are not off the mark, but I will also say there is an incorrect public perception of what happens in police citizen contacts. They have no obligation to persuade you to submit. They can order you to submit, and they can take what is a reasonable step to force you to submit. I was bringing this up earlier because I knew we were going to get here. Up until fairly recently, when a cop got out of a squad car to give you a ticket, he put his nightstick in its loop holster on his Sam Brown belt. and that nightstick is close to a yard long. And what the drill was, and it's not illegal, is if you resisted arrest, you were beaten into submission until you were able to be subdued and handcuffed and taken into custody. Nowadays, people think some cop is supposed to struggle with somebody until they voluntarily comply with his or her request to submit to being taken into custody. They don't have to.
Right.
So just remember that. And as a public relations thing, the cops don't do what they used to do, which is forcibly subdue.